I am of the belief that once we get through this interest rate crunch that we're working under, the economy, our economy, the world's economies will change dramatically as a result of artificial intelligence. So with that in mind, my objective is to figure out who is going to be the winner in the artificial intelligence wars. And to do that, I looked back and said, well, it's probably going to be amongst the 7 largest companies in the world. So I pulled them up, and I came up with, of course, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, and Tesla. The only other company that's in that ranking is Berkshire Hathaway, and they're not really a company. They're more like a mutual fund. So I said to myself, okay, they have all each won their own individual wars in the battles they chose to fight, such as Apple won the phone wars, Microsoft the software, Google the search, Amazon e-commerce, NVIDIA semiconductors, Meta the social media, and Tesla EVs. So they have shown the ability to win the wars they choose to fight in. So with that in mind, I said, then if they are in the war to win the AI battle, how much are they spending to win? So I went and did some research, and I said, okay, what are they spending, each one of them, on research and development? And then what percentage of their income is going to research and development, and what percentage of their revenue is going to research and development. And through that, I think I can gain some insight as to who's playing in this game to win and what element of the game might they win. So which ones and how do I want to allocate my investments, as I believe their prices will come down from where they are now and offer me buy-in opportunities. And then when the money frees up, when interest rates come down, their research and development will pay off with escalating revenues from their investments in artificial intelligence, and I will win as their price goes up. So what I want to do in this video is share my research with you. That's what I like to do. I like to look at their financials. I like to look at their technicals and figure out who's going to win this war. So let's let the games begin.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, so I created this Excel spreadsheet, as I said, to compare the expenditures of the last year of Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, and Tesla on research and development. And again, my thought is that whoever's going to win this AI war, or the major segment of it, is going to be the one who spends the most to position themselves to win it. So with that in mind, I created this Excel spreadsheet here. And as you can see, what I've done is I've ranked them by market cap. The largest being in yellow is Apple at 2.6 trillion, then Microsoft at 2.4 trillion, Google 1.5 trillion, Amazon 1.3 trillion, NVIDIA 1 trillion, Meta 763 billion, and Tesla at 558 billion. Then what I did was take that same color coding and showed who has the largest revenue within that. And that shows that the largest revenue is from Amazon at 558 billion. Second would be Apple at 385, and third would be Google at 297 billion. Then I said, okay, now let's rank them in income. And again, it follows the same as their market cap. The Apple the first, Microsoft second, and Google third. Then I went over and said, okay, who's spending the most on research and development? And surprisingly enough, that the largest is Amazon with 86 billion, followed up by Google, a third of or a half of that at 43 billion, and then in third place is Meta at 27 billion. So then I said, okay, let's see what percentage of their income they are actually spending, and that'll give me, I think, a level of commitment, if you will, or a interpretation on their part as to how important this is, of the willingness to spend, in this case, Amazon, 429% of their income on research and development in this last year. That's a substantial commitment, followed by Meta, 127%, and then third, NVIDIA at 76%. So that's their commitment in income. And then I wanted to see, how does that relate to their commitment in revenues? Well, Meta comes out first with 30%, followed by NVIDIA at 24%, and then Amazon at 16%. So that gives me a feeling, and my general feeling is that where the big money is going to be made on this is not going to be at the business side, the commerce side, selling software or personal assistance to business people. It's going to be, at least by their expenditure, the one who captures you and I, who captures our fancy and says, here is your virtual reality assistant, and we will make it available to you for a subscription price. Maybe it's, I have heard that Amazon will make that personal assistant available to you as a member of Prime with an extra $5 a month charge. What does that mean? That means I can go to Amazon and I can ask questions, and they'll give me answers on any purchase that I want to make, like I did for my computer. But in that case, I used BART, I believe it was. But that will be, if I am a Prime member and I'm willing to pay another $5, that will give me that interchange with a personal assistant, a robot, a bot that will help me make purchase decisions on Amazon. Then, as I say, the second player is that of Meta. And what I think Meta is going to do is, again, for a subscription fee, enhance what I can do on Facebook, what I can do on WhatsApp, what I can do on Instagram, in any of their platforms. And again, charge me a monthly subscription fee. This will be totally new to, as I understand it, to what Meta has done in the past. But I think it looks to me, based on their expenditures and their expenditures relative to their income and their revenues, that that's where the big winners are going to be in e-commerce, and, like Mark says, in fun. Again, I encourage you to listen to each of these companies' earnings calls. I'm very anxious to hear what Tim Cook is going to say, where Apple's going to fit into this whole equation. Because, as you can see, Apple's down at the bottom in revenue. They're spending 8% of their revenue, whereas Elon's only spending 4%, and then they're spending 31% of their income, and Elon's spending 34%. Now, I think you got to understand, Elon's in a total different ball game. Elon's selling cars, and he's going to sell robots, which he calls a car, and it is going to be a part of the purchase price of the automobile. Whereas I believe Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Meta will create a subscription that you pay for this personal assistant, whether it be for a small businessman or a large corporation. That's where I think Google and Microsoft are going to find their niche. They're going to create a personal assistant to people in the business world to help them deliver artificial intelligence in a similar format than Amazon and Meta will, but associated with their individual companies, such as Salesforce. I think is a natural player, but I think the tools that Salesforce will use will come through Google or Microsoft. So that's how I think that's going to play. What I want to emphasize is I think each one of these 7 stocks price that is available to buy them at today, you will have an opportunity to buy them at something less than that price in the future. And that's because, again, it's like Elon said, I don't care how many cars I make and how good the car is. If the individual can't finance that car, either because of higher interest rates or the unavailability of money through the banks, it don't matter how many cars I make and at what price I make them, because the consumer cannot afford them. Well, that's the exact same thing that is happening to every other company. It's happening to Apple's iPhone. They aren't selling as many of them. Number one, because people can't afford a new phone for $1,200, even though it's made out of titanium. That purchase is going to be put on hold until interest rates come down and prices of food and gas and housing come down. Right now, the consumer is not in a buying mood. And that spills through not only to consumers, but businesses as well. If you aren't buying products from them, they aren't producing products, and thus they aren't generating the income that they would in the past. You see so much of this that people are postponing decisions. Just like I saw something about the baby boomers who have a home, but they want to move closer to their children, don't want to give up that home that maybe they have a 3% mortgage on, and then go buy one close to their children where they're going to pay 8 to 10% mortgage. No, that don't make no sense. Okay? So they're postponing purchases. Until we get through that, these stocks won't take off. But in the interim, their prices will come down as the consuming economy slows down. So I use what I call my cheat sheet. I go in, I look at their financials, I look at their technicals, and then I derive a price based on technicals and financials where I think I can buy that. To give you an example, after I listened to the Tesla call, I believed I could buy Tesla, which at the time was selling for around $218. I believed I could buy it for $211. That was before the call. After the call, I dropped that price to $200 even. I'm suspecting, after what I saw happen to Ford's and General Motors' price relative to that strike and the difficulty they're having selling electric vehicles, I believe on my cheat sheet, you're going to see me drop the price that I want to buy back into Tesla to some lower price. That's how I use it. I don't freeze things and say, that's what I'll do. I learn every day, and that's what I hope you recognize. I am a flip-flopper. I basically change my opinion, change my attitude with every bit of knowledge that I accumulate. If that makes me a flip-flopper, I'm raising my hand. That's me. That's what I want to do. I change my mind, just like this right here. I've been taking NMN to give me this energy that I have right now for 3 years. One of my tribe members last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, said, I am the largest manufacturer of NMN and other aging supplements, anti-aging supplements in Europe. And so he sent me this. I just got it in a package today. I'm going to be taking this. I'm going to be telling you in the future what I see, the change, good or bad, relative to this product. I'm not going to, at this point, give you the name of the product because I'm not ready to endorse it, but I will. And again, I'm flip-flopping because when I learn something, I put it in my brain and I change my attitudes. That's what knowledge, that's what learning is all about. So if that means I'm a flip-flopper, I'm going to flip and flop all I can to take advantage of what artificial intelligence is going to do to our world and how it's going to drive prices of the stocks in the Bus 12 and the Bus 13 to new heights once we get through this interest rate problem. We'll talk more about this, I'm sure, tomorrow and every day after that.